Alright, welcome to episode 44 of History Rewritten. Nice looking map we've got here. I mean, Europe is still pretty scary. Anyway, in the last episode we had a load of stuff happen in Central Asia, or kind of like Central China really. I'll say China? I don't know, it's strange. This country fell apart over here and united with this random ugly thing that was up there. The red country split into two, so now have this weird pink thing over there. Had the revivification of the Northern African Alliance, although there's only one North African country, that being the blue team, and they are now allied with Iberia, the purple one, who controls a ton of stuff across the world, in Africa, in Brazil, in Australia and in New Guinea, and as well as the Catalonian country, who control this bit of South America, these islands, I think an island over there, Angola, and the southern Philippines. Nice. So those are their two allies. The South Asian Syndicate got a new ally, being the Orange country. The Baikal nation joined forces with Korea and Sakhalin. Obviously the blue South Japanese country is gone. Yep, they've been eliminated by the Japanese. The actual Japanese. With these guys. And they also control Hawaii, so Japanese Empire, right? And today we're going to be looking at, once again, the Orange country, because, you know, things are kind of unpopular in the Orange country, in certain bits. Lots of people are quite unhappy with how they handled the war. It's been a while, it's like 1930s at this point, and that was like 1918, 1919, when they declared war, so, you know, it's been like 12, probably 15 years or something, since they had that war with the Lime team. But people are still unhappy. Their leader is still the same, he's quite old now, and he's actually going to step down and have the country led by a sort of committee, council sort of thing, instead just as one ruler. Of course they're theocratic, so it's like a religious ruler, however now there's a council of religious guys. So that's interesting and new. Anyway, we're going to stay in the Middle East, because the red country is still on the move, and they're after this country over here. The new Orange team split region. So red team troops will come up from the Kuwait area and quickly take their capital. It was not going to be too tricky. The capital is very close by, and that was kind of a huge mistake. So, oh well. The red team managed to take this, and they continue travelling down the coast towards their second major city, which they take very easily. Boom, it's been taken. Now most people have fled to the coast over here. This is taken, and from there red team forces will join up with their other front line, as these forces posted in the east manage to close up these remaining areas, and the country will surrender very quickly. This war, you know, was probably 3 months or something. It wasn't a hugely long war, because the red team has really been militarizing a lot over the past 400 years or something crazy like that. They've also been receiving lots of support from people who I'm not going to tell you. Can you guess though? There's like 4 main countries who are giving them support. I mean, of course people give them money, but like, there's 4 main countries who are giving them money, and then one other one who's kind of like less important. I suppose 5. Can you guess who though? I bet you can't. But you can't get all of them. Some of you can probably get, but oh well. So the red team looks slightly better. Yes, the orange team now has new leadership, and the red team is looking more like the red team, so that's cool. They're missing a ton of stuff though. Like, what are they missing? All of this. Yep, you know, they're still missing quite a lot. You know, they can work on it though. They're getting closer. That's all that really matters. Back over to North Africa. 2 new countries have joined this alliance. The first one being the Grenadian country. You know, the blue team doesn't particularly love the Grenadian country because they attacked Morocco. I mean, Morocco is never a part of the blue team's North African alliance. However, they have pretty good relations with them. They were an offshoot from the blue team. pretty like episode 4, I think. So they never really liked the Grenadian team because they had such a terrible relationship with Morocco, and they actually destroyed them when they colonized the country. And of course, they don't like colonizing countries, which we'll go into later. So Grenada will be allowed to join, however, because they are strong. And the next country is going to be one you might not expect, as this country is going to be Italy. The Corsican country, or is now Corsica. The purple team in Italy, who isn't in Italy anymore, will be joining this alliance, and, you know, people are kind of like, dude, are we actually going to let them into our alliance? I thought we absolutely hated these guys. And they do kind of really not like them very much at all. They have pretty terrible relations. They've had terrible relations across all of history, pretty much. And it's surprising to a lot of people that they're being allowed into the alliance. However, over the past 15 years, Corsica has been working on their defences, and Corsica is now one of the most defended islands in the entire world. They've got some really cool tech. They're not really rich, and they don't have a huge population, but there's some great sciencey stuff, so that's cool. There's that. So there's now the entire Iberian Peninsula, along with Blue Team in Africa and Corsica. So that's nice. Not you guys though. Haha, get lost. Anyway, we're going back up north to imperialist Finland, who's got their eyes set on another country in terms of conquest. And this country is Norway. I mean, they've attacked Sweden, they've attacked the red team that was here. They could go after these guys, but the green team might attack. And they're pretty good friends with the sludge team, so probably don't attack them. Anyway, so they're going to be going after Norway. So Finnish troops will make their way towards this Norwegian city. It's a pretty huge one because they need their Baltic stuff. However, the Finnish troops will manage to capture it. There's a lot of sludge team troops here as well. And they make their way towards the second Baltic one. But by now, the front line's kind of just meh. It's not moving anymore. The Finns do, however, manage to take some northern territory. That's good for them, I suppose, but that's about it. So, after about 2 months of stalemate, these Finns will carry on going up northwards. This war's already been going on for like 5 months or something like that. And they take all the islands of Svalbard. So that's nice, I suppose. The Norwegians kind of rush to go and defend that. That means a lapse in their front lines as they take this. However, as the Norwegians appear to try and make a counter-offensive, the Finns will go, how about we have a sit down and talk about a peace treaty? So they're going to go do that. The Finns won't get as much from this as they would from their other wars, or they have from their other wars, because there wasn't a huge conquest. They're not going to get any of the Norwegians' colonies, because Norway's too good, too powerful. Also, Finland is stuck in the Baltic. Their coastal access is really bad. You're trapped in the Baltic, mate. I mean, so is Sweden, but Sweden's a different case because they're very close. And they were Bornholm, but also the colonies would probably just rebel. And the Finns need to worry about other stuff rather than, like, acquiring new colonies. Oh my. Acquiring new colonies rather than. Yeah, they've got other things to worry about than making an actual overseas empire. I'm confused. Why did that go? What? Okay, I suppose probably that's been happening. What? How did I not realize this? That's crazy. Anyway, I thought the Norwegians had a different colour, but apparently they didn't. Let's check this. This is crazy. Anyway, making some discoveries today, I suppose. The Norwegians will keep a good amount of this territory, but they have lost like half of their Baltic coast and the entirety of Svalbard, so that's quite sad. But they didn't lose too many military personnel, so that's alright. Or too much tech. You know, they knew the Finns couldn't really push them that far, so it's alright. The Finns did steal a load of this, though. The Norwegians liked that stuff. Good old northern coast up there. And this is going to lead to some stuff that Finland might not like. I mean, Finland does have a crazy empire right now. Look at the Finnish empire. All of this Karelia, Finland, this Russian stuff, St. Petersburg, all those islands, Gotland, Bornholm, whatever the hell that is, Svalbard. The Norwegians will go to Sweden, they'll go to the UK, Ireland, France, the Terracotta Nation, Brittany. Like, who wants to make an alliance? And some of these countries are actually going to accept an alliance treaty. And those will be Sweden, the UK, and Ireland. France don't really feel like it. They might join. They're thinking about it. Actually, they might join, actually, to be fair. I've changed my mind. They were meant to join this alliance. Right, so the French, the British, the Irish, the Norwegians, and the Swedes have all made an alliance together. As for Brittany, Brittany's struggling, to be honest. Brittany used to be really powerful when their empire was kind of like one of the first ones there, and how this Florida stuff. But it's a lot for the Bretons to deal with. Now they have lots of colonies all around the world, and they're kind of just happy to just sit there. They're like, great, well, they're just going to exist, make some money, do holiday stuff in Florida, just be happy, be fine, you know, just be peaceful. And most of the Breton people are kind of alright with that. Nobody really wanted to come into this huge war and fight a load of people. They're kind of struggling with, some of these colonies want independence, which the Bretons do not want to grant. However, they have thought of a way to, stabilize the population a bit, and that's going to be buying some land. Not very much. So the Bretons will come out and they will buy all of this. Great. This got taken from them by the rebellious Purple Country in the north of France, and they never got it back from these guys. So they're going to buy it back, and there you go. The people in Brittany feel a lot better now. Not hugely better. The regions still want to rebel. Everything's not great in Brittany. But, like, you live a nice life here. It's one of the highest per capita nations in the world. Huge empire. I mean, that's... I'm not quite sure on that. They've got Florida, they've got Lesser Antilles, North Bahamas, some of Ethiopia or Somalia, random islands in the Indian Ocean, and Tasmania. So it's an empire, just not a huge one. And they were the first country to discover the Americas, so that's cool. But they will not be joining this alliance, because they can't really deal with a whole lot more land. I mean, the Normandy stuff is effectively Breton. The people there are Breton, for a good deal. But, if just grab a huge load of land, if they manage to win a war, just like all of China is now a Breton colony, that would not be good. Everything would just be in huge inflation, be terrible for the Bretons. However, let's talk another bit about independent stuff. With the blue country here in North Africa. So decolonization has been a thing on the minds of the people in Algeria for a very, very, very long time. Ever since Norway, Brittany... Oh yeah, I forgot about Breton colony in Bamako? Bamako, I think that's the name of the island. And Sao Tome and Principe, along with like the Swedish bit over here. These guys around there. Some other people probably made colonies. Oh, like these guys. People have kind of been like, decolonization sounds alright. Like, colonization, not good. But decolonization sounds like fun. So, when they started going like, oh, we're going to make a big alliance because we don't like these people who won World War I, and we like to get them off this thing, and like take their land and attack them and whatever. People were like, no, we do not like that idea. Bad. So, yeah, people really aren't in support of going and fighting these people in World War II, which, World War II is going to happen. Probably next episode, almost definitely next episode. So I'm very excited to do that. Yeah, it's like World War II is going to happen. people on both sides know that there is almost definitely going to be a war between this big alliance. Probably Istria. Istria's neutrality is just saving them at this point. And also the fact they have an empire and they supply stuff at really good prices because they're one of the hugest producers of food and things. Like, they have this bit of Africa with all these lakes, rivers, and nice bits like that. This isn't great, but they can deal with it. It's holiday stuff. I think they have one island over here, and then this is pretty good, so that's nice. I mean, that's all their colonies, but they are huge producers of nice foods and things. They have bits of Italy, not very much of Italy. They make wine, people like that, so they've not been attacked yet, which is nice of them. But they know that there's going to be another war, and they're a little bit worried. Anyway, so people in the North African country, like, right, I don't want to fight this war. It's going to be about more colonization, and we're probably just going to lose land, or we're going to gain a load of land, and I don't want either of those things to happen, so I don't support it. So, the people in North Africa are going to have to come up with an idea, and the idea that they come up with is that they say, if we win this war, we'll grant independence to every single one of our colonies. So that's Barbados, Uruguay, what else do they have? The Andaman Islands, that might be it. And, people are kind of like, that's okay. And finally they will agree once the Blue Team promises that they will also give independence to Sardinia and Sicily, which are places they've occupied for a very long time. And although they are very blue team oriented, people are still kind of like, I think these are colonies and you should give them independence. So they're going to do that, but they're not very happy to do that because they like having this land. It makes them lots of money. They're going to do it. So if they win this war, all those places will get independence, and if they don't win this war, they'll probably still get independence, to be honest. Or the Italians will steal all your stuff, so that's great. I mean, they will actually take all your stuff. Anyway, what else was on my plan for today? Not a whole lot, really. The Terracotta Nation decided not to join the Norwegian alliance because they're trying to be peaceful at this point. A lot of people are very annoyed. They, like the Bretons, have a huge empire they need to deal with. It's not as big as some empires, but it's still pretty huge. They need to make sure people are happy that they've lost a lot of their land, but, they've still got some of their most important stuff. This was all kind of tertiary. Is that the right word? I feel like it's the right word. But it wasn't your most important stuff, so they're alright giving it up. Well, not really. They're absolutely fuming, but they'd much rather give all this stuff up than give this up, and they're like, we can still work with this, we'll be fine. Anyway, the Green Nation and China, they're both just working on tech stuff. India's working up a huge military, which is like Imperial India again. That's what they're focused on at this point. And China's just broken that scientific stuff. As in, I mean, they're just gonna go to war in a sec, because I remember they need to go do this. So, China is going to be declaring war on one of the newest countries in the world, that being this purple country. So this purple country has done absolutely nothing in its history, really doesn't deserve this. However, Chinese troops will make their way into their eastern border, quickly take their capital, very quickly, because it's right on the Chinese border, take their entire remaining area, lots of people fleeing into the interior, and probably into this dark bluish country. But it's not very long until China takes the entire country, and is going to fully annex them. Some people are actually very pleased this is happening, because living in that country was not fun. It was extremely poor, it's in the middle of nowhere, and lots of these countries don't really like them. The ones surrounding them, I mean. So, it's alright. Being taken over by China, one of the strongest countries in the world, they can live with that. And their capital will be demoted. It's a regional capital, I suppose. There you go. China looks slightly larger. They could definitely take over like most of these Central Asian countries. They could take over all of this, and just imagine like, this horrifying Chinese empire. That would be pretty scary. Yeah, they might like to sometime in the future. So I suppose we'll see with that. Chinese sphere influence. What does that look like? I don't know. So China obviously has lots of influence over its allies, especially in Asia. It's probably the Koreans don't want to be influenced by them. But they are. I mean, probably something like this, yeah. Basically all of Asia. I mean, their allies in Europe are also influenced, but I didn't want to draw that, so I didn't. And, you know, Europe is influenced by this stuff as well. So probably most of the world, really, is influenced by them. So that's nice. Like, countries who are kind of their allies, like the Pink Nation, North Korean one who's north of Korea, I mean. There's certain areas in the Central Asian thing which are kind of like pro them. So that's cool. Also, I've realized one of them is the same color as China. Aren't they? Are you two the same color? Oh no, they're not. That's cool. Alright, this is very, very close. Sorry. There's that. Anyway, what else did I have to do? To us, there's not a whole lot left I need to do for today's episode. It's kind of just an episode to go like, well, we're gonna have all this happen in preparation for a big war, so that's gonna be fun. Oh yeah. Right. So it's about 1930, let's say, and for the next 10 or so years, people are just gonna work in their military. You know, work on their economy, work on their military, scientific stuff. Lots of things are being discovered. And to us, it's a time of prosperity. Things are going quite well in the world, and people are like, maybe this war can be averted. Probably less than 10 years. A bit more like 6. Either way, it's 1940 at this point, and we had the Red Team breaking this world's peace by going to war with this pinkish nation over here in the Middle East. Yeah. The pink nation knew it was coming, so they were kind of prepared, but it wasn't really going to save them. The Red Team makes it over to this Iranian sort of area and takes their capital very quickly. From there, a spearhead will emerge as they get to the gates of their capital, the remaining major cities up here in the north, so they're going to work towards this area and take that pretty easily. The spearhead will reach up their other captured area as they go along the border of the Lime Team. Finally, this major city will be taken. These two front lines meet up, and from there, a spearhead is made all the way to this major city. They border off this remaining territory, and as you can see, it doesn't look good. The Red Team will go in closer and closer and closer until they finally take this all down, and it's going to be full annexation, I'm afraid, into the Red Country. Well, the Red Country is not very powerful, so like, it's not really an empire. I was going to say the new Red Empire. No, you're not really an empire, I'm afraid, mate. Because you're not very scary or strong. Most people could beat the Red Team. Maybe. I mean, they're probably like a slightly above average country at this point, so that's nice for them. Dang. But yeah, they've been investing a lot into their military. They're buying lots of things from their allies, who are selling all their old equipment from World War One. Not to say that all their allies were in World War One. Most of them possibly weren't. Possibly all of them weren't. But that's a possibility, who knows. Anyway, so they've managed to annex this entire pinkish country. Why did I draw those lines? I don't know. But the reason they annexed this one last out of all the easily annexable substates, so like this one's in an alliance, and although it's not an attack one, attack all alliance, lots of countries around them dislike them. Like the yellow team, the green team, the lime team. They'd all probably want to jump in and have a bit of the red team. So they've decided not to attack. But the reason they attacked this one last was so they didn't have a border with the green team. And they had a border the lime team down here in their colony, but other than that, they wouldn't have that border either. So, there we go. Their team looks quite a lot like just a Mesopotamia sort of thing, which is interesting. And, yeah, that's almost where we're going to leave it. Except, I don't know how to do this. Tensions have started to rise in the world. Militaries now right on people's borders. Countries are moving in other people's activities and stuff. And arguments are breaking out. Fascism, I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, aren't I? It has started to appear, unfortunately. It's more like just not liking people, really. So, for example, in the Sludge Team, which is one of the top countries for this, they kind of just don't like all the people that have attacked them. So it's mostly like Sweden and the Dutch. They don't like those people. It's mostly just like, I don't like those people, so I'm going to be mean to them and stick them in ghettos and stuff. So that's cool. It's not cool, it's actually really horrible. So this is a very dark part of the history of this. And it's happening in a lot of these countries, including the green team, who've kind of got it aimed at the red team people, which is making these pink guys a bit mad. Although they don't like the red team, but they are of the same sort of thing. I don't know how you'd... Anyway, they're very similar in the way that they work, I suppose. The Lime team hates just, in general, the Europeans. You're not allowed to be European and be inside the Lime team. That's how bad it is now. But, yeah, China's got it mostly aimed at, like, Korea, Sakhalin. They don't like these guys, so they don't trade with them or them anymore, which is really nice of you guys, so well done. And that's about... Yellow team. You kind of get the picture. Just think of a country in this alliance. Who has attacked them in the past? Most of them have been attacked. At one point, they don't like those people. The Swiss, it's kind of just the blue team. The blue team right next to them. Not the Algerian one. This blue team. They hate these guys. Because they've done absolutely nothing. But they haven't attacked them in all this time, so that's nice, I suppose. Anyway, yeah, so that lovely ideology is starting to emerge in the world. It's putting people more and more on edge. It's mostly just been capitalism. The Russians are very unhappy about this because the brown Russian team is like about as capitalist as you can get, which is probably not good, but that was just how their country worked. You have to work really, really hard. If you're rich, you made loads of money. And if you weren't rich, you just completely impoverished in Russia, which sounds like communist Russia in a way. So, great. Already starting off wonderfully for the Russians. Anyway, so tensions are growing. Relations between the old Eastern European alliance, Crimea, Grey Team, the new Grey Team, Blue Team, this northern one, and this new Crimean country. They're starting to talk to each other more and work out some stuff. Obviously not really with these guys. What I was saying about them being anti-bad ideology was that the people were angry at that. The country itself, it's effectively just an extension of the Green Team. Like at this point, the Green Team, although they occupy all of this, they look slightly more like this. So, yeah, scary Green Team. The country does crush those rebellions, so don't worry, it's fine. It's gonna stay in this country for a while. Anyway, those ideologies will start to spread around those countries, and tensions begin to rise, as I mentioned before. And quite interestingly, we have the abdication of a group of leaders around the world. Now, can you guess where all those leaders abdicate from? It'll find out in a second, I suppose, because let's just do the thumbnail right here, shall we? Right, perfect time to do the thumbnail. Because in the orange team, the entire council of leadership has just gone, nope, we resign. Because a new leader has taken control in this country. And this leader is, of course, the leader of, I'm trying to pick a good colour, the leader of the red team. They've taken control of this country, and now it is one thing. The two countries have united, and they've also both joined the South Asian Syndicate, the Myanmars and the brown team. They both joined that. This is kind of what they were working on. The blue team was one of the 5 countries who were funding them. The others were the brown team and the purple team, because they were working with the syndicate. And for the other remaining 2 countries, that was the red British country, who's working to fund them from Egypt, and the blue Algerian country, who, despite all their history of just attacking each other, decided to fund them. So that was nice. That was nice. Of course, these regions will also join up in our new red team federation. But this thing is now very powerful. It's pretty powerful, I'd say. And it's also in this alliance. So, no, that's alright. All of these guys are in an alliance together. And yeah, that's kind of where we're going to leave it for today's episode. Right on the brink of World War II. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you didn't just look at the thumbnail and go, right, that's the end of that video. Because, yeah, I missed a bit out, so you had to watch the entire way, because the map changes. That's cool. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe. Have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.